Hi, I'm Nathan Oakley and this is video log number 112. When you start one of the YouTube Google Plus Hangouts on air, the first thing it tells you is that you're an actor. It explains to you that should there be any bad actors in your hangout, you can eject them thusly, and it shows you the directions on how to do so. On a recent mirror on my secondary channel, which is just called Nathan Oakley, one of the commenters on the video interview I did with Zoe Scribner, otherwise known as Be Here in Love, said, "You're a poor actor." And I immediately had to come clean and say, well, actually, yes, I've trained to be an actor at college. So, yeah, I've studied performing arts, and therefore I am an actor. However, my point in this video log is that we are all actors when we click the start button. There is a certain suspension of disbelief that lets people who are viewing any number of video logs and live hangouts that they are watching a person. And unfortunately, that's not strictly true. It is in some instances, but in a lot of instances it is not. We are actors. Now, as I perform to you now, am playing a part, the part of a storyteller, the storyteller who tells you my explanation for why Flat Earth is a psyop, or whatever I decide to title the video. And that performance comes from a person, the actor, Nathan Oakley. In the Flat Earth arena, we've got different levels. We've also got characters. So there are many people who sit around the Flat Earth campfire and will certainly not call themselves Flat Earthers, but are involved in rebellion against the system. So if we take a couple of examples, we've got people like Charles, who will ignore Obama in his direction that we should not have time for a meeting of the Flat Earth Society and sit around the campfire. Again, ignore the general consensus that flat earthers should be ridiculed, and he will not throw stones at us, even when some of the people who are flat earthers and are apparently clued up in the way of the deception and the paradigms we are stuck in, do throw stones at Charles. He doesn't retaliate. If he does, it's from a position of logic. His logic, of course. But that's an example of somebody who has broken the system and now sits around the campfire as an actor. So Charles uses his real name. There are other characters who often get misidentified as being real people. So examples of these are people like JLB and Tim Osman. Now Tim Osman I refer to as the character formerly known as Tim Osman, because Tim Osman is not a person. It's a facade. It's a cover. It's a front. Same thing applies to John Le Bon. Obviously you get not a free pass, but a slightly greater degree to antagonise people if you wear a veil of anonymity. And I'm certain that somebody like the character known as John Le Bon would argue that you can ask him his real name at any stage. Doesn't really change the fact that that person is, in fact, a character, and those characters are rife. Now, you're probably looking at me now thinking, why is the title of this video, Is Flat Earth a Psyop? Well, there's a very simple explanation. When you consider that we are working within the realms of a controlled structure, that being YouTube, this is our arena, this is our platform, that is indeed a controlled structure. And you look at the past in terms of what they have needed in place for people to ridicule Flat Earth, and indeed have the information there to be ridiculed. And those dusty old controlled means, such as the Flat Earth Society, don't really cut it in a modern age where you have real people who you can have the stones thrown at. So the question you are left with is, are we part of that system? We all understand the fundamental truth that is the Earth being flat. We also understand the layers of deception that have been put in place to make us believe that we are on a spinning ball. And many of the people like John Le Bon, who I used as an example earlier, will also accept that we are not on a spinning ball hurtling through space, as the heliocentric mainstream system dictates we are. So if we take all of that into consideration, we are left with us actors telling people about the world being flat, and John Le Bon, a slight variation thereof, telling the people that it's not the heliocentric system we are told, and we are left to have stones thrown at us. We are in that snake pit where people will ridicule us, and it may be the case that that's our purpose. If we are making the great leaps and bounds of progress, bringing people to the truth on greater and greater numbers daily, then of course that would be incorrect. We are waking the people up, and what an amazing notion that is. However, if indeed this is a system that has been contrived purely so that we are here to have the stones thrown at us, then we may very well be partaking in a flat earth psyop. However, this doesn't change the truth that there is not axial, if I could say it, axial rotation and curvature to be measured. So for all those people out there that have a more scientific approach to this particular topic, people like Jaron, Bob, the Morgile, they will always focus on that and they will bang that drum indefinitely. And for all the people who originally started this new way of thinking, this new wave of flat earth belief, if you want to call it that or label it that, people, new characters and names, Math Powerland, you know, those people who have identified that we have no pictures, that we have paintings of Earth, those are the originators of the potential snake pit. But those people, Math Powerlands, and if we take what he says at his word, people like Adam Dwyer, A4, have been here and been ridiculed and have been suppressed and trolled to within an inch of their life. It's my belief, just for the positive side at the end of this video log, that we are making strides. People are becoming more aware. The normal Joe Bloggs public, not just the radical fundamentalists like myself who will happily shout from the rooftop and tell all and sundry that the earth is flat. There are normal people who are finding this information out and it is resonating with them, as much as I hate to use a new age term. That's pretty much it. If we are a PSYOP, it's by the means that we are controlled by. It's by the platform we use, which has been put in place, potentially for us to be here, to have stones tossed at us. How do you combat this? Well, don't be afraid to leave the platform. Don't be tied by the restraints of things like YouTube. And by that I mean go out and tell people, you know, don't see it as flat club. You know, the first thing you know when you are in the flat club is that you shouldn't be talking about it. Maybe not. I've spoken to people who maybe wouldn't be deemed, not worthy, that's probably the wrong word, but the appropriate people to tell. People like my very elderly, now 101-year-old grandmother, who's been told this information and it didn't cause her to have a heart attack. You know, she didn't accept it because she's got a television next to her. And on that note, I'll say that I've been Nathan Oakley and I'll see you all in the next video.